Hi everyone. Today I am going to share with you my junk journal. I've been working in this for a little while and I am really excited to finally be back and to be able to share this with you all. I made a couple of inserts last year sometime, and I had never really made a journal like this before, so I've made just plain Midori size inserts and things like that, just using regular paper, but I had never gone through my stash and gathered up just all sorts of different papers and whatnot to use in a journal. So all I really did was I sat on my floor. I have a bookshelf beside me that has just a lot of books that I have collected, a lot of used books. I get a lot of my used books from Half Price Bookstore, and so I just have a little bookshelf over here. It has all sorts of books with flowers and butterflies, and I've got a couple of vintage Montgomery Ward catalogs and things like that. So I just kind of picked out a couple of the books that I really just liked the images from, which for me, of course, is flowers, since I love florals. And then I went through just my drawer full of collected ephemera of vintage papers and gathered music paper and just pieces of maps and just kind of anything that I thought would be neat to make a page. So of course, while I was doing it, I ended up with way more. I started having so much fun that I ended up with just a huge stack of papers, and I ended up dividing it into two booklets, and I probably should have divided it into at least three, maybe four, because this booklet is maybe half done and it is huge. It's really thick and it's really full, so it doesn't really squish down much when I shut my journal here. So but I love it. I love it. And I'll just kind of do just a quick little flip of this one. I've got calendar pages, just old book pages, pages from my Rose book that I love. This is Joss paper, and I get mine at our Asian market here in town. There's printed vellum, doilies, maps. This is more Joss paper and more printed vellum. I used to work at an elementary school, and I did all the copies for the school, and these are just leftover transparencies that I had saved. Let's see, just more floral paper. This is from one of the Flow paper books. This is from the Montgomery Ward's catalog. Music paper, more doilies. This is mulberry paper. I've been a paper artist, worker person. Of course, well, I started with scrapbooking way back forever ago in the late 90s, and I have a huge stash of just all sorts of paper, all sorts of vellum, scrapbook papers and things like that. So I thought it would be neat to add the mulberry paper in. This is more Joss paper. Let's see, what else do we have that's different. This is more Joss paper. Just regular plain vellum. Here's music paper from an old, gosh, I'm not even sure the language, Japanese music book with doily, a piece of ledger paper. This is a vintage birthday card. Just more vintage paper from my flower book. Here's the back. This part's the back of the birthday card. So yeah, so that's just a quick flip of this one. I don't want to I don't want to go through it slowly because I want to get this filled up and then do just a nice slow flip for you. But this one, the first page of it was this calendar page, and I thought that it needed something a little bit more sturdy. So I work at my children's elementary school now, and I am always around lots of leftover paper that usually gets put in recycle, and a lot of it I've been keeping because I'm hoping to be able to make some journals out of it and things like that. So this is just kind of a thick craft type paper, and I just put it here to make a cover. This is a picture that my daughter drew of me, she did a little portrait of me, and I've just kind of slowly been adding things to this just as I see them. This, believe it or not, is from a Walmart tag from one of my work shirts that I got. And yeah, so that's just pretty much that. I have, I'm keeping this in a cover that my dear friend Sandy made for me. She had shown me a journal that she had made for herself with this honeycomb on it, and I loved it so much, and she was kind enough to make one for me. So this is a larger size. It holds the larger moleskin, the Kahie, I don't remember how to pronounce it, sorry. But it holds the larger moleskin book. And it works perfect for this because this is pretty much a Midori Traveler's notebook size, and since it is so big and chunky, it wasn't fitting very well in my original Midori notebook. So I've just got it in here for now, and this is a moleskin insert, just a little card insert that I have. Just kind of a few things in it. If I take this anywhere, it'd be easy for me to put a quick page together if I wanted to. I've got a couple of vintage photos in here. This is just the plastic insert that has the zipper in the back, and I just have more little bits of pieces of paper. I've got, what else in here? I haven't looked in here for a while. Doily, I've got old book paper, I've got some more old photographs. It's just some small pieces of vintage wallpaper. So I could, you know, put together a page on the go if I wanted to. I always have a little zip bag in my purse that has a pair of scissors and a glue stick and just a mono adhesive. I can't get this shut now. It's not cooperating with me since I'm on camera. There we go. I always keep a mono adhesive and a glue stick and some scissors with me in my bag. So if I just kind of grab this, then I could easily work on some pages if I wanted to, if I was out and about. So this is my current one, and this is what it looked like before I started. So this is just kind of the leftovers of the huge stack that I had weeded out of this one because I knew it was way too thick. So I'll just flip through this one real quick. A calendar page, and this is from an old yearbook. More printed vellum. And what I did with this was actually a 12 by 12 piece, and I folded it up so that it'll work like a pocket. So whenever I do this page, I can put tape here or leave it or sew it or something like that, and then use it as a pocket. Let's see, this is the vintage Montgomery Ward's catalog. This is from one of my Rose books. This is from an old fossil field guide book. More Montgomery Ward's map paper. This is from another one of my books about flowers. This is a neat little sheet that somebody had sent me just in a little RAK, and I thought it was fun and different to put in there. Just plain vellum. It's another fossil page, rose book, ledger paper, another different flower book. Here's a piece of mulberry paper, and I didn't cut it off because I didn't know what I'd be doing with it. So I left the extra on there in case I wanted to fold it or something like that. So it's kind of hanging off on the edge right now. Music paper, rose book, yearbook, another piece from the Flow book of paper. I love the Flow book of paper. It has a lot of fun stuff in it, but I just wish that the pages were a little bit bigger because they're like just small enough that sometimes they're difficult for me to use for bigger projects. So I've just kind of had that sitting around forever. So I thought it would be good to finally try to use some of those and put them in here. Another piece of a butterfly book. Here's the other half of that transparency from school. Some pink vellum. And this is Joss paper. I get it, like I said, at our Asian market. It is a paper that they use in a ceremony, and they burn it they use it as kind of like an offering. So some of them are very plain and some of them are more decorated. So this one is silver, and then I have another one that is like this that has an orange block in it with gold. So it's really neat. It's very inexpensive, but I find ours at our Asian market in town. More flowers, Montgomery Ward's, Flow paper. Here's another just piece of that oriental clipping. This is also a piece of Joss paper. And then this page, it's just kind of a little flip. I wanted to add this page in here because I really loved the text, the foreign text. I didn't want to turn it sideways because it was really small, so I just left this little flip-flop here, and it'll be fun to see how I can add something onto that. Printed vellum, flower page. Here is another piece of Joss paper. This one's really pretty. Butterfly page, vellum, book paper, rose, and then here's the center. This is some Montgomery Ward's ad. I think this is from, let me peek, 1962. So 1962 Montgomery Ward's catalog. And so then here's just the other half. I love how everything is different. I can't say that I really thought hard about trying to make the colors coordinate and things like that. I wanted, even though they kind of seem like they do, but I think it's because I love florals and butterflies and nature, and then just plain papers with print and things like that. So I think it just kind of all evened out and ended up working all together really well. So what I did is I just kind of stacked everything up, and when I did that, I held it in my hand like this, and I just tried to make sure that the piece of paper would get at least one or two, hopefully, punches through it. I just bind it very simply. I don't know if I'm doing any of it right, or it's probably totally wrong. I only poke 3 holes in it, and I just thread some waxed thread through it. This is just black wax thread. What I've kind of been doing is my husband got something in the mail, some computer part, and it had this big, thick, very solid piece of foam in it. And so I used to use an old telephone book to place, I would place the booklet in the crack of the telephone book and use that. But telephone books are getting to be very, very thin since you know, pretty much nobody has their personal number in it anymore. It's just the yellow pages. So it was really easy for me to accidentally poke into my work area. So I saw this, it was going to go in the trash, and I thought, you know what, that would work perfect for this. So I just take an awl and I eye it. I don't measure it. I usually just start in the middle and I poke it through the middle, and then I poke a hole on each of the sides about 1 or 2 inches in. It just kind of, I went in farther for this just because I have such oddly shaped pages, but usually I kind of do it more out on the edge a little bit. But I usually just do 3 holes, and it works perfect for me. And just tie it in a knot. I like to leave a little bit of tail just for the fun of it, but that is it. So I don't think there was anything else that I was going to tell you. It was super easy to put together. I had a lot of fun. And I guess the thing that I would recommend the most is just use papers that you love. Use images of things that you love. Things that really catch your eye. Just, you know, the colors. I like the colors of this. I love flowers. I think if you just do that and the types of papers that you like to work with the most, then you know, you will end up with a really neat little journal that will be really fun to work in. And you, of course, can make this any size. You could make it small enough to, you know, go in a little. This is a pocket-sized Midori. You know, you can make it square. You can do whatever you want. So I hope you enjoyed this, and if you have any questions, please be sure to ask below. I'll do my best to get back as quickly as possible. We're getting ready to be finishing up school, so this next week or so is going to be kind of a whirlwind of just getting into the swing of being home again all day. And I actually, whenever I was kind of working on a video for another page, I found some videos that I had made of working on a couple of pages in here. So I'm hoping that I have all of the parts of that so that I can put together some videos of these pages. And I have shown pictures of all these on my Instagram, so be sure to follow me there. This is another page that I flipped through and didn't think to tell you, but this is the middle paper from a tin of Altoids. So you can use anything that you want and make it lots of fun. So I hope you enjoyed this, and thank you so much for watching, and I will be seeing you again soon. Bye-bye.